Talking to Pat down at Cresswell, who he's my inspiration. I visited Pat down at Cresswell, and I had never heard of a Hummel bird. And I went into his home. He's got a nice garage where he's built it over the last number of years. And he's starting his engine now, getting ready to fly.
Oh, wow.
But I walked into his home and his garage and seen his wonderful sports car.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. It's very small.
Sports car with wings.
But it does everything, I like to think of it as a sports car. I'm excited.
Okay, so let's see. It's, what is today? Today's April 14th? Yeah, April 14th. So when did you lay your plan out and cut the first bulkhead?
Well, it started when I sold the YX in December.
Uh-huh.
I had no idea what I was going to do. Visited Cresswell, Pat, seen his Hummel Bird, and I immediately ordered the plans.
Oh, wow.
And the plans were like $290.
$290?
So that's pretty inexpensive.
Yep.
And while I was waiting for the plans, I did some investigation best I could on YouTube and so forth. But as soon as I got the plans, I started building. So I got the plans in December. So this is my Christmas present.
Ah, Merry
And,
Christmas.
Been building, so this is April. I hadn't worked on it as much as I originally planned, but I'm retired and I'm doing some consulting work with the company I founded.
Oh, side job. Keep paying for aviation.
A couple of hospital trips
Some of those.
and lots of helping airplane builders.
Nice. Good. Plenty of side work.
But by the way, my original goal would I be flying this maybe late summer.
Uh-oh. Okay. We have a date. Late summer.
No.
But we know the engine's not going to be here, don't we?
That kind of did that. It took the delivery time for an engine, which I ordered in December. Once I found
Oh my
out
gosh.
that the delivery time was
Okay, yeah. So you got to keep.
to create these forms. What I did is I took 3/4 inch plywood and cut out forms for them so that I could put the raw aluminum over the form, and I can get one of the forms out if you want me to.
Yeah. Let's look at one of the forms there. Because you're saying how you printed out 2 sets of plans.
Actually 3 sets. One's a master set, and then what I'd do is I'd cut out the plans and I'd glue it on to a piece of 3/4 inch plywood,
Okay.
and then I would use that to make the cutouts and so forth. So this is used, for example, that's bulkhead D, which is in the back there.
Back here.
Yeah. So this form is what we used to make that bulkhead.
Nice. So you make the form, and then you would bend the ears around the edge of that, outside edge of that?
Yes, yeah. And what you do is you take your form and you bevel the edges so that when you do bend the tabs back, you don't put such a critical angle to it.
Nice.
So you do that. And the reason I made, you get the master plans, then I made 2 copies. One to do the form,
Yeah.
and then the second one is to cut out the aluminum.
Oh, nice. Gotcha. So then would you set that on the aluminum to cut it? Or clamp the aluminum to it?
No. Once I do this, then I cut out the aluminum and I glue the drawing.
Gotcha.
And I cut it out.
Like a template.
Yeah. And then once I get it cut out, then what I did is I put some screw holes in to fix the aluminum to the form. And then what you do is you just take a small, I use sort of a plastic hammer and bent these over based upon.
Yeah, so you just bend the tabs over the ears right there.
Right. Now, if you want me to continue?
Sure.
Yeah. Once you have these forms, this is the firewall, instrument panel. This is where the pilot sits in here, and then the back is for the fuselage and so forth.
Now, I remember when I was looking at it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's not big enough for a pilot right there. But then you're saying there's a big, I don't know what you call it,
Yeah,
turtle deck or...
Correct. Turtle deck that goes up over here, and it goes about that high and goes back. After you have the forms built, then you have to create this 10-foot form that allows you to position all your bulkheads at the proper spacing between them. And also you get some that you have to make at an angle where most of the forms, well, this form, these forms need to be perfectly aligned and 90 degrees to this center beam that we made.
Nice. So that's your center beam that you can just build everything right on and attach it to it.
Yep.
So that...
Then I use these braces here to keep everything as straight.
Gotcha. That is so cool. Just do it all right here on your tabletop.
Yeah, it doesn't require much space. And the way I've got the garage set up, it's kind of a U shape where I have all my tools and equipment fairly close to me, so
Yes.
you don't have to walk around a wing to get your
Drill press, bandsaw.
Yeah.
Now, you went and looked at Pat's Hummel Bird, and he suggested a modification on one of these bulkheads
Yes.
for the lines.
This bulkhead here. But anyway, Pat noticed that and suggested to me that I make this one, the instrument panel, slightly wider to prevent a bow in when you're putting the skins on.
So that was this, what do you call this, a stringer or a longeron?
Yeah, no, they call not a stringer, but side rails.
Side rail.
My previous airplanes, that would be called a longeron.
So then on his, this actually bows in a little bit.
Right.
And whereas yours, it's a nice smooth out, or just a hair,
Well, it's
almost
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, I forget. I think I made it about 3/4 of an inch wider. So we're not talking a lot. But it's when you put the skin on.
Yeah.
When you put the skin on, that's where you notice kind of a bow in.
Yeah. That looks nice.
Most people probably wouldn't notice it.
Oh, it's just barely, huh?
Yeah. So it's yet to be seen. I'm putting the skins down now.
All
So
right.
we'll find out soon how it all works out.
Yeah, so that looks, you can see right down the line here. It's just nice and just out just a hair, and then blends right into the side of the airframe right there.
Hope. That is the hope.
Nice. Yeah, that looks good. So you said about 3/4 of an inch?
I believe so.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you just took your plans, would you cut them in half and just spread them apart a little bit?
That's what I did.
Gotcha. And then cut your wood just that much bigger.
Yeah. Well, this guy, what I did, and I had to think through that, and that's the benefit of when you're doing a scratch build. You got to kind of think ahead. So how do you make this an inch wider if you wanted an inch?
Right.
So what I had decided to do was take the outline of the plans, cut it in half, and then separate, as you said, by whatever dimension that I wanted to make it wider.
Uh-huh.
That's what I did, and hopefully that's going to work out.
Nice. Well, yeah, already, like you're saying, the lines along the fuselage here look great.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, you're not going to have some funny wrinkle in the skin.
That's the hope.
So, do you know already? This is going to be one skin right here, and then this is going to be another skin to here. Is it like one skin for
Well, let's.
bulkhead to bulkhead, or?
Well, back here, I had the choice of putting the skins on back here, where the plans you say that you can do one piece.
Oh, one big piece.
And I felt that's too complicated, too difficult.
Right.
So I made it into two pieces. And the same with up here. You could have used one piece, but it just seemed to me that it gets too big, too unwieldy.
Exactly.
So I cut it in half, which the plan says that you could do that.
Gotcha.
And so now I'm just starting to get the side skins on.
Nice. The first skin is going on.
Yeah.
Woo, man. And how in the world did you line up the holes in your, again, what do you call these things? Side rails or longerons?
Those are the, oh gosh, not side rails. These
Stringers.
Are side rails. Stringers, you're right. Those are stringers.
Those are the stringers. And so you had,
Well,
you
basically-
drilled the stringer first?
Well, basically, here's what I did. You make up this
yeah.
stringer, and what I used is the angle iron.
Yeah.
You had the option to make it out of 040 material,
Oh, wow.
but because I didn't have access to a good bender this size,
Uh-huh.
I put it as angle iron. And then so I mounted the angle iron between the fuselages here. And then once I did that, I set up my spacing
So
for the holes.
it said just take a flat and bend it, a 40,000, and you just bought angle iron instead.
Yes.
Oh, that was way easier.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think superior in strength.
Oh my gosh.
But if you had a bender that was
Big.
48 inches, 50 inches.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a big bender. That'd take up the rest of your garage.
yeah, because I've got two stringers here and two in here.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing is I'm using these silver Clecos,
Uh-huh.
and I'm trying to, as you see, they're all installed.
Yeah.
And that's so that I can make sure the skin is as tight around the bulkhead as I can get them.
Yeah, it looks like you got a great fit in here.
So far, everything looks good.
That looks really, and so what, did you start just one Cleco at the top and then bend it clear to the bottom, or you just work your way down?
What I chose to do is start at the center
Gotcha.
and then work out.
So that did the top line.
Yeah. And once I started working out and completed this, then I'd go to each side,
Uh-huh.
one by one, going down and keeping it.
Nice.
I used these kind of straps to
Oh.
wrap around it
To help you, yeah.
to hold it in place.
Sure. Oh, great
Make sure it's
idea.
tight.
Yeah. That is a great idea.
So,
God, that is, give you just like your extra hand sitting there.
yeah, because I've been doing this by myself.
Sure.
And
That's the best part about it, is you can.
yeah, and the thing that I like about building this Hummel Bird, it's small, and I wanted something that I could still build because I enjoy building.
Yeah.
Um,
And then go 100 miles an hour still.
yeah, and this is, I think of this my little sports car.
That is great. And you just worked your way down right here. That is awesome. Yeah, just nice tight fit. Everything stayed really snug.
Yeah. Well, when the challenge is when, well, the other thing that I can show you that you might be interested in, when you have the tabs on the bulkheads,
Uh-huh.
and maybe you have to come over on this side, but part of it, to make sure the skin doesn't buckle and that it lays flat, you take a straight, and you make sure that the tabs.
Oh, are parallel with the line of the body.
Correct. And you do that
Oh, great.
all over, and you for each one.
So you pretty much just use that angle iron right there and went and
Yeah.
bend the tabs to the proper match.
Yeah, you want something that's sturdy and straight that's not going to bend on you
Yeah.
to validate this.
That is great.
So you do that all down the line.
That is great. And then all your tabs are perfectly in line with the fuselage.
That's what you try to do. Now, the one thing that I've just run into that you might want to capture this on the video is everything has fit real nice, except right down here. And this is where you have your bulkhead that's at an angle.
Uh-huh.
So if you could see down here, down at the taps,
Yeah.
I'd have to
Oh,
bend
yeah.
that up.
Okay, gotcha. To match the fuselage line going up to this bulkhead?
Right.
Oh, I see.
So I have these tabs here set up
They match.
to match those up there,
Okay.
but because the two skins are coming together
At
at
different
this
angles,
point,
right.
so what I'm going to do is I've got a cut line here that I'm going to cut it down.
Uh-huh.
Then I'm going to use dimple. I'm going to dimple it, not dimple it. What do you? Flange. They're.
Oh, I have little flange pliers?
Yeah. And hopefully that will allow me to get these things up. But that's the current problem that I'm working with.
I see. So you'll cut that excess off,
Yeah.
and then you'll overlap it with this front.
Well, I can't think of the name of it. I can't even find it now.
Now,
It's, oh, here it is, yeah. Have you used these before?
no,
Yeah.
So what that is.
So you use these on wings when you're
Interesting.
forming the ribs.
Uh-huh.
This will help the aluminum to bend around non-straight lines and stuff.
Oh, without buckling or something like
Right.
that.
So it puts
Oh,
it. So you got to use it in the right way. 'Cause
Uh-huh.
You can see it's got a lip here, and then it,
interesting.
yeah. So that's what I'm going to use down there.
Let me see those real quick.
Yeah.
Do you, yeah, you got some scrap aluminum?
Yeah. I'm getting plenty of scrap aluminum.
And you call this a dimpler?
No. I can't think of the name of it. That's what happens when you get older.
You know what you need.
So you can see
Let me back
if I
up
take
here.
this, and it's just like a pair of pliers. You can
Okay.
see the.
And
the
so
dust.
it makes a nice bend in it.
Yeah. So
That's-
you'll see as I do this, if I do it the right way. See, that's the right way. You can take a straight piece.
Oh,
You can start to see it start to curve.
gotcha. I see.
See?
Yeah.
And that, I'm hoping, will help me down there.
Nice.
So-
That's a cool tool.
Yeah, you use these mainly when you're making the ribs on for your wings.
Oh, I see. So that's curving over the front of your main rib there.
That, but also if you notice with a rib, it has a vertical component and a horizontal component.
Mm-hmm.
But when you bend that over,
Uh-huh.
and that now it's you need to get it so that if you don't use these,
Mm-hmm.
you're
It'll make a crease or a
it'll
crinkle.
tend to start bending your rib in a direction.
Oh.
So this straightens it all out.
Oh,
by
nice.
doing that.
Gotcha.
And I did that with ribs and stuff, but I think I can use that technology and scheme to take care of that problem I've just run into.
And then it'll just match perfectly
That's my hope.
your bulkhead there.
That's my hope.
Very nice. The skin is going on.
The
Very nice.
so that's maybe challenge number 2. Challenge number 1 is when you have the alignment beam in.
Uh-huh.
The challenge is, if you have your skin, how do you get a drill in here? Because I've got to up drill into the skin.
Oh, yeah.
And how do you do that?
Ah,
So what I've chosen to do is to drill and put clecos in where I can.
uh-huh.
Leave this section because it's hard to have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to leave that when I take the beam out.
Are you gonna have half the skin on?
Yeah, I can leave the skin on and I can cleco
I
everything
see.
in place like this.
And then take the beam out.
Yeah, the skin's going to give it the form.
Right.
And it's rigid. Once I get all my skins on, and by the way, when I say all my skins, it'll be this section back here,
Uh-huh.
the underneath of this section,
Uh-huh.
because you get a canopy over here,
Right.
and then I'll do the skin under the, this is where the fuel tank goes.
Gotcha.
This section here. So I'll put the bottom skin on here. That gives it enough form and rigidity that I can take the beam out.
Gotcha. Now, are you gonna just basically cut the beam out?
No,
You're gonna be able to just slip it out?
correct. That's the plan. As you can see, I've got the supports just screwed in.
Yeah.
So I'll take those out. I'll end up taking off this bulkhead.
Gotcha.
It's screwed into the beam,
Okay.
and then all the beam will slide out.
Nice. Awesome. Very cool.
And once the beam is out, then I'll have access in here that I can finish drilling all the holes
Right.
into the skin.
Oh, so that was my question was, so you've already drilled this stringer first.
Yep.
And then you just clamp the skin to it and drill up through the
Correct.
holes
Up
to get to the skull.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
And that's how you end up matching the holes. Okay, I was wondering, so how in the world do you match up those holes? But you just drill right through them. Are these holes the finished size, or when you're drilling these, are you up drilling, or this is the finished size?
No, they're not the finished size. This is the 3/32. And my whole goal right now is to put the whole fuselage, basically all the skins, using the silver clecos. And I'm doing that to make sure everything fits.
Oh, so the silver clecos is the one drill size down?
Correct.
Oh.
It's a 40 drill size, number 40. And
Oh my gosh.
so this just makes sure everything fits. For example, if this skin, if I run into a problem and I damage that skin trying to fix that,
Right.
I just take that skin off and throw it away or use it for something else and put another skin on there.
Nice.
So that just allows me to be flexible.
You got room for mistakes.
Correct. And once I get the fuselage all back together using these clecos, I can take out certain sections. For example, the instrument panel,
Uh-huh.
I'd be able to take that out because it's all just clecoed.
Oh, okay.
And for example, with the instrument panel, if you want to do your instruments, and I'm still looking at what instruments we want into this,
Uh-huh.
but it allows me that flexibility without,
You're not committed.
you're not committed, and then finding out that you got to crawl into under,
Right.
yeah, to do wiring
And then so after all the silver clecos are done, you're confident everything's the way you want it, then you go back through and do the full size
and riveting. Yeah.
and start pull your first rivets.
Well, it'd go to the brown
Clecos.
clecos, and then what I've done historically is, for example, I'd take this one out and I'd drill it with a number 30, then I put my bronze cleco in it, and I do it one at a time.
Oh my gosh.
And I work from the center out.
This is for someone who has a lot of time.
Well, it goes fairly, it's a lot of stepping and repeating,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I personally enjoy it. There's a lot of our friends that wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, but like you're saying, just the convenience of having it right here in your garage, all your tools right here, where you can work conveniently at any time you want to. So, what was the date you received your plans?
I'd visited Pat down in Cresswell. As I said, I didn't know what a Hummel Bird was, and I was very impressed. It looked like a little sports car to me.
Yeah.
And I had sold my YX, which I love. It was a great airplane to build. It flew, the performance and how it looked. I got lots of comments.
That V-tail is awesome.
V-tail.
Y-tail.
But so I sold that really because of some health conditions. So I wanted to build, and I still have hopes to fly, but I need to fly just with no passengers.
Single seat.
Single seat.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, because I didn't have any plans really to build it yet. Because usually everything you're looking at to build, you're talking, 50, 60, 70, 80
Cha-ching!
plus $1,000.
Bringing money.
By the way, the important thing, I currently estimate that this is going to cost maybe 18 grand.
God, that's
Now,
great.
that's avionics, which you go simple,
Yep.
and a half VW.
Nice.
And for $18,000,
And 100 miles an
I
hour.
go 100 miles an hour.
And 5 gallons or 4 gallons of gas an hour, it's like over 20, 30 miles a gallon.
Yeah, and I look at it this way: all our friends have got higher performance aircraft. Well, I can go at 100 miles an hour. They can go 150.
Yeah.
And I just told them, I don't have a problem. I'm just gonna tell you what I want for breakfast, and you order. By the time I get there,
Breakfast is ready.
breakfast is ready.
All right.
So, yeah, so I'm excited.